Hey everyone, how's it going? And in this video I'm going to be showing you how to remove the badges off the back of your car quickly and safely, so there's no chance of damaging the paint and the results are going to look fantastic and the badges will never look like they were there.
And we're going to be taking my car from this to this.
In this video we'll be using a few simple tools to safely remove the badges off the back of the car. I'm going to add a few more stuff into this process, but the bare minimum of what you need is some soapy water, this is just some car shampoo in here, a couple of microfiber cloths, some polish, a drill, and this is called a stripe off wheel, this is quite important, and some fishing wire. Also, in addition to my car, I'm using a few other things to help make the job a bit easier. So I'm using a heat gun, I'm using an exterior detailer just because it's easier to clean the car with that, 3000 and 5000 grit sandpaper, and the wax or sealant of your choice. First off, we're just going to give the area around the badge a good clean. Now you can use the soapy water if you want, but here I'm just going to use some exterior detailer. It's just a bit better to use on the paintwork with a microfiber cloth. But soapy water would be absolutely fine, so just give it a good clean around the badge. And next up, this is completely optional, but I'm going to take a heat gun and actually going to apply some heat to the badge. And the only reason I'm doing this is purely because the badges are stuck on with adhesive, so in my mind, by heating up a bit, I'm making that adhesive a little bit softer and it's going to be a little bit easier for it to come off. Next up, we're actually going to remove the badge itself. Now, what a lot of people do is take a screwdriver like this and try prying the badge off. And this is something you really shouldn't do, because if you use this, you're going to cause irreparable damage to the paint. Instead, what we should do is take some fishing wire, because this allows us to get behind the badge and cut through the adhesive behind nice and safely, not going to cause any marks into the paintwork of the car. So I'm just going to cut some off now with a pair of pliers or scissors. And the idea is now just get behind the badge, like that, and then you start pulling the badge towards you, not towards the paint, just because you want to cut away, and go up and down in a flossing motion. You can see the badge now starting to loosen away from the car. Keep a little bit of pressure towards you constantly, and eventually, there we go, the badge is removed as easy as that. Of course, at this point now, our main problem is all the residue left behind. This is going to be the hardest thing to take off. Now, what a lot of people do is actually get the fingers behind and start peeling them off and stick it just like that. Now, although this will work, and if you've got nothing else to do, that's probably the way to do it. You are going to cause little scratches in the paint, which will probably polish out. But a much quicker, much easier way is to use one of these. So I'm using my cordless drill, and this is called a stripe off disc on the end. And this is like a giant eraser, which is going to just take the badge residue straight off the paintwork. Now, as you can imagine, with an eraser, if you go really quickly over one surface, it's going to heat up, so you just need to be careful when we're doing this. Try and keep it as flat as possible and keep it moving constantly, and don't spin the drill faster than you need, because you don't want this to heat up too much and then burn through the clear coat of the car. I'm just going to quickly take a dry microfiber cloth this time, but very lightly just try and buff any loose dirt or contaminants away. We don't want to wet the badge yet, the residue. So now taking our stripe off disc.
On an old car, you may find that the badge residue is really stuck on and really stubborn. And in this case, going over the badge residue with a heat gun and heating that area up is going to make it much easier to come off with a stripe off disc.
Now, what you might find on an old car like mine, which is 13 years old, is that the badge residue kind of etches itself into the paintwork around the edges of the badge. And this really isn't going to come off with polish, because it's a bit, the polish is too fine of an abrasive really. So what we're going to use instead is some 5000 grit sandpaper, which is still very gentle in the long run of things. I'm going to spray the area with some soapy water, and same with our sandpaper. And what we're just literally going to do is just obviously going back and forth lightly over the surface. Until all the residue goes, but this is taken off quite nicely and quite easily. And just wipe the area dry and then inspect to see if there's any residue left around where the badges were. And this one's looking good so far. Next, I'm just going to take some polish, because you'll find a 5000 grit sandpaper, it's probably just dulled the surface slightly around where the badge was. Take a bit of polish on a microfiber cloth, just work it in circular motions. I do apologise for the noise around here, as well as a lot of people doing work today outside. Give it a nice good rub in like that, and paintwork should look nice and shiny. And finally, just apply some wax and sealant to the area, whichever you prefer. Let that haze up for a few minutes, and then we can buff it off and that side's done. As you see, a simple 5-minute job makes a big difference to the back of the car, and if you like this video and it's useful to you, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, or just leave a comment in the section below. And if you want to see more stuff like this, be sure you subscribe to the channel, because very soon I'm going to be installing this £20 spoiler on my car, and I'm going to tell you if it's any good. We're going to sand it down, paint it, stick it on, and actually see what the results are like, and whether £20 well spent or £20 wasted. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, see you soon, take care.